Welcome back to House of Content. We are running a new series here called House Guest, and my first one is Christina Pearo of Slate. She has been in my LinkedIn DMs and on my feed for a while, but I'm so excited to have you on the show.
I'm really excited to be here. Also, I'm excited to be your first guest because that feels really special to me. So when you take off, 7, 8 episodes from now, you have to remember me, okay? Remember me as your first one.
When we were still the little ones.
When you're still the
Um,
little guys, yeah.
this series, we're bringing on social experts who can come on, and the mandate is pretty simple. What is a topic that you could give a full-on TED Talk on? But before we go into today's theme, I'd love to hear a little bit more about your background and also Slate.
Yeah, okay. This is so fun. I've talked to a couple people about this and I always look back and think, holy whoa, I've come a long way. So I had my whole start in I went to school for, communications, whatever, but my passion was always television. So I worked in TV for about 5 years. And it was a whirlwind. It was literally like such a crazy 5 years. I learned how to pitch, produce content, um, really think about like how to craft a story, especially on television. And that's like a whole different game than social, but that I'll get into that later. And for 5 years, I was hosting TV shows. I was also producing them. I was also pitching ideas for more TV shows, and I was pitching content like ideas for the TV shows like
Hmm.
every week. Emailing, outbounding. I was kind of like doing sales. So TV is a crazy place. You kind of have your hands in everything, and you wear a lot of hats, especially if it's a smaller company. And then all of a sudden, um, my company was like, well, we're going to cancel all of the shows that you're on. Yeah, it was pretty brutal. And I was heartbroken. I literally like was like, what am I going to do with my life? So I tried to apply for TV roles, but it's really competitive out there. So I was like,
Hmm.
you know what? TV is kind of dying, kind of. It's having a resurgence in a
Yeah,
different way, but
shifting.
it's shifting. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go where the people are, and I want to go to social media. So then I started applying for social media roles. Um, and you'd think that I would get automatically like put to the top of the list because I worked in TV, but no. So it took me many, many months to land a social media role. And then eventually, through a fun series of events, I started posting on LinkedIn because I was like, I don't know, I'm going to post skits on LinkedIn. And that's eventually how I got in touch with Slate. Slate reached out to me and they're like, we'd love to interview you for this role. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And here I am almost a year later at Slate. So it's kind of been like a rocky road, but I made it. I found something that I'm actually really passionate about and I would have never expected it. So,
I'm actually convinced because I also have a background in hosting.
oh,
So,
amazing.
and this is like a million years ago in Finland, but I hosted a nightlife and a music series for Finland's first online television channel. It was kind of like
So cool.
Vice, but for Finland, so a tiny, tiny country. And I believe that like most marketers and social people, they got their start in one of these like really random off the cuff type like content program that kind of are related but bring a different sort of experience. Can you talk me a little bit about what Slate does?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So Slate is an all-in-one content creation platform. We're trying to be the creative home for social media teams. So essentially, we all know that this is a problem we face. We face the problem of creating content, getting it approved, brand assets being in a Google Drive, on Slack. Where's the updated logo? Where's our updated fonts? Nobody knows ever. And they're all over the place. So, what Eric and Michael set out to do was to create a platform where we could create video, image content, long to short form content as well. Easy for social teams to use all in one place so they don't have to like search for version 7,000 of a clip again. It's just all located in Slate. No need to go outside of platform.
That ties in very nicely to our topic of the day of B2B being that girl on social. It really has been a resurgence, or maybe even the first time that B2B is seen as cool. And I feel like you have been one of the people, even like riding that wave. Like you have become one of the voices of these B2B social people and marketers who are just doing things differently. What do you think about that?
Wow. Okay. Thank you. Why am I tearing up? Um, yeah, no, you know what? I really am shocked because I didn't set out to make B2B cool. It's not something that I was like, I'm gonna go into B2B to make it cool because it was, I didn't even know what B2B was. Like,
Hmm.
if you asked me what B2B was like a year ago, I'd be like, what the heck are you talking about? And now I know what SaaS is and GTM and B2B. And like, I feel like a
Welcome to
good
the
girl.
club.
Yeah, I know. Thankfully, like I'm finally understand all the acronyms after a year. But yeah, I didn't set out to make it cool, but I ultimately took what I knew from storytelling on TV and I just thought like what is entertaining for people? Like I personally I'm not going to listen to another B2B podcast about like like I don't know, paid social and how to do it right and this 3 steps to do this. Like I'm just like I don't have the time for that and I don't have any interest in that. So I honestly like my goal was to make it exciting and fun. It is helpful that our ICP at Slate is social media managers, so I get to really relate to those people.
Hmm.
Um yeah, and I'm excited that B2B is making a splash. Like I'm excited to see companies like Ramp
Hmm.
really channeling this cool energy of like and bringing in nostalgia marketing and thinking of like ways to make B2B cool. Air is another good example.
Oh, I love them. I was just at their HQ
Yes,
yesterday,
I
actually
saw.
co-working.
I was like, okay, I'm jealous. I went to an air little session a couple weeks ago in Toronto as well. It was
Mm.
so good. And I'm just like so thankful that there are people pushing the needle, as annoying as that phrase is, because I know people use that all the time. But I'm so thankful that people are pushing the needle because like at the end of the day, we're marketing to marketers who are people. And people like to be entertained, but also educated. So if you could find a way to strike the balance of those two things, you're golden. And I don't know, maybe I'm just confused as to why it's taken us so long to get.
Oh, I have been here for a while and I have been waiting for a while. So, I got my start as a copywriter on the consumer side at a creative agency. And then moving to New York, I actually moved into my first B2B role because that was the company that would sponsor my visa. So I was like, all right, let's go. And then I was like stuck inside a world who didn't get creative, certainly didn't really get social or like having that lively or differentiated brand persona that people could really connect with or be entertained by. And so now that we're finally in this is space, I think where we're going to be headed next actually is, with Cannes Lions, right? We had sort of the, the consumer categories are the golden children. Then came health and pharma, and a lot of agencies started, playing in that space. I think B2B is going to be that next space where we're going to see a lot of breakthrough marketing. And it's not going to be, Spotify is great with B2B, but they're also a consumer company. So they have the money and they also have the right people to approve those types of campaigns. But I think we're going to see like the ramps and the airs be represented in that award show like pretty soon.
Oh, I'm so excited for that. And I think I mean, I'm sure a lot of that was because B2B is you're selling to companies rather than people, like direct
Hmm.
to consumer. So I think there's that piece of it that is like you don't want to take the risk because you want to seem like you know what you're doing, you're professional. People are investing a lot of money into these platforms, right? So it's not like they want to go about it and be like, this is a foolish company that doesn't know what they're doing. So I understand like
Hmm.
the risk of trying to do these out of the box ideas and not get canceled or whatever, but it really, I honestly think at the end of the day, taking no risk is the biggest risk of them all. So, um,
We're all fighting invisibility online, so it's
yeah,
very well said. I did a little bit of a deep dive on LinkedIn, into Slate's
amazing.
socials, and then also looking at a few of our, our friendly companies that I'm sure we have like a few brands in common in mind who we
Yes.
think are doing this really well. But for me, it seems like at Slate, your strategy really is you're doing a mix of partner content. So you're partnering with people with Zaria Parvez and other social leaders, doing video content and thought leadership around it. But then also you're sprinkling in some, if meme type content, and then some more of the heavy hitting product updates and features and launches. And how would you describe the strategy? Like, did I miss anything?
No, I think, yeah, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. Like ultimately what we're trying to do. I mean, I was a solo marketer for the first few months at Slate, and then we brought on obviously Christina and Carmen, which has been really cool
Hmm.
for us to kind of see the progression of like product marketing now. Because I remember in the early days at Slate, like we had a big fan base, and it was because we were doing a lot of community strategy. That's been
Hmm.
a big one for us that we've been
Hmm.
tapping into. But then I'd get into these conversations with people and we're like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what Slate does. It's like, okay, we need to fix that. So then came like diversifying our content. Like, how are we gonna actually take our customers through the funnel?
Mm-hmm.
Part of it is like our webinars, our monthly webinars. We want
Mm-hmm.
people to come and actually be educated and like learn how social works. So we bring in social leaders to our monthly social club, which we called
Mm-hmm.
it. I don't like to say webinars; they sound boring. And that's like a great
Live shows.
live shows, yeah. And that's like a great lead capture tool. Like we get people's emails, people are really excited, and then we bring them into our Slack community. And the Slack community is honestly just a space we created because we knew people wanted to talk social in a more like in a less public way than LinkedIn or Instagram. So it's a great place for people to talk there. And then we have like our lunch and learns where we actually talk about our product and we show how other people are using our product to make good content and to make it fast. And then on top of that, for like the content we're posting like funny, entertaining content that's relatable to our ICP. So skits, funny conversations with our boss. I don't know if you saw our dumb boss video. It did pretty well. We just had this ridiculous conversation with Eric about like, the trope where your manager tells you to revise something or brings up an idea in a conversation
Mm-hmm.
and they're
Mm-hmm.
like, my kid really likes hashtags. We
Oh yeah, of course.
so we brought on those like tropes. And then on top of that, we also intersperse like product marketing.
Mm-hmm.
But we try to approach product marketing in a way that isn't just like, here's our product, let's show you what it does.
Mm-hmm.
Rather, we're like, how can we approach product marketing like CPG brands are doing? How are
Ooh,
they talking about their
tell
product?
me more.
Okay, yeah. So it's like, for example, I'm very into beauty, so I'm thinking of like
Yes.
Rhode, or I'm
Mm.
thinking of like Mco Beauty is a great one. Like they're working with influencers and they are making the product releases fun. So
Mm-hmm.
anytime we release something new on our platform, it's like how can we make this fun so that someone actually watches it for entertainment first, and then
Mm-hmm.
eventually goes, oh, that's what you guys do, or that's what you offer. So mixing that in, once again, like I said earlier,
Mm-hmm.
entertainment and education together and finding the balance of the two, but also diversifying your content and not just like focusing on tofu or bofu. Like you've really got to hit all the funnels because it's a really comprehensive strategy. Community,
Mm-hmm.
content being posted on Instagram and LinkedIn, and really just thinking of that as like a whole unit rather than individual pieces is so important. I just went on a tangent there, but
I'm taking mental notes because I'm currently in the process of revamping our social strategy at Crowd for our new fiscal starting April 1st. So these are all things like I selfishly also am kind of like I'm learning so much. I wanted to kind of pick your brain on who else is doing well in the space. Like what B2B brands do you currently look up to yourself?
yeah, I hate that I'm saying this again because I feel like these are the only two I'm thinking of right now. But Nathan Ramp,
Mm-hmm.
killing it. Like, I'm so impressed. I think part of it is because I watched, excuse me. I think part of it is because I watched The Office and
Mm.
everybody loves The Office. Like, it's a classic
Mm-hmm.
show.
Of course.
And, I was thinking, like, how do you bring in, like, they didn't bring in Michael Scott. He would have cost so much money. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, genius marketing move to bring in Brian, first of all.
Oh, for sure.
So smart because he's doing he's doing cameos right now. So I know he was doing
Ah.
cameos for the last like 4 years. So he would just like record content for fans. So he's probably like, I would love to be the face of this brand that is reaching out to me. So it's great work for him, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
Second, they're channeling the office feeling in their content. Everybody loves it. They're bringing that nostalgia back. And then third is like Brian was an accountant and they're a financial company. It is the most perfect pairing. And I'm like, why? Ah.
It's just all coming together in such a perfect way, and it's also this like big idea first thinking that we've been lacking in B2B for so long. So
Yes.
they're a great example. I think another company that's also kind of like working in those realms, Air, obviously doing a
Yes.
fantastic job of their marketing. I just watched their Super Bowl ad that I believe they aired in India during Super
Okay.
Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
With the singer that has been
Yes.
making viral song. I'm like, okay, genius. Who would have? Sometimes I'm like, how did you think of this? How did you
I
think?
know, I know. I think you need like newsrooms, but also systems of activation where you have people with that big muscle creative thinking and being
Yeah.
able to like thread that cultural through line, because culture should not be separate from B2B. It's so funny, like we so long have been like, oh, culture belongs to like a sneaker brand or a fashion brand, but
Yeah.
actually we have been started for so long that in many ways like the bar is even lower to get started because you will get
Yeah.
attention.
I like to add on that point. The bar is low right now. And I do believe, like you said, Christine, that we're gonna be like the next big thing, like B2B. So while the
Heard
bar
it here first.
heard it here first, on the House of Content. But no, I really do think that if while it's low, while the bar is low, getting higher every day,
Mm-hmm.
why not test things while you can? This is the time to test and pivot and move quickly with the speed of culture, because if you don't, you will get left behind, unfortunately. And like social doesn't have time to like drag you along, you have to really be cognizant of what's happening in culture. And I think that's why it's important for B2B marketers to have brainstorming sessions with their team. We actually have one in Slate that we just literally started this. It's called, we don't have a name for it, but we just have a brainstorming session where no idea is off the table. No amount of money, however much money it
I love
takes. We just like go through ideas together. And we came up with some pretty cool ones last time. And I was like, okay, some of these are expensive, but is it worth investing in? And that's the
that.
second. You don't even think about that question until you get through the brainstorming session. So it's important for B2B companies to start hosting those like, uh, what do you call it? The like an SNL, I'm losing the
Or
word.
like writers' rooms,
Yeah, it's
right?
important for
Yeah.
B2B social teams to host writer rooms for their teams to talk with each other and think about ideas that will span, the next year, the next quarter, over the next quarter, over the next year. And I just don't think we're doing that enough. So while the bar is low, we've got to start doing that. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just think and we got to start taking inspiration from places where people are already entertained. Why reinvent the wheel if people are already entertained
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
by CPG and television? Like take those ideas and bring them to B2B.
And I think I would also add to that is knowing your references. I think B2B marketing and B2B marketers have been so far removed maybe from the more creative and award-winning side for good and bad, It's also been, I guess, sometimes on the consumer side, especially at creative agencies, it has been a lot of trophy chasing as
Yes,
well.
yeah.
So I don't think we should go like that far left, I'd say, but I do think it's important for a lot of B2B marketers to immerse themselves also in like what does best in class creative look like. We have a couple benchmarks now in B2B, but a lot of the sort of the best campaigns still come from consumers, so like kind of like knowing the field that you're playing in as well. I want to double click on something else that you said. You mentioned community, and I think that's something that you do exceptionally well. It's the reason that we're talking today. So talk to me a little bit about your community play and how you're managing that.
Yeah, when I went into social, I didn't really think community was even a lever you could pull, to be honest. Like I just thought social was content, and I didn't
Mm-hmm.
realize that social could also be community. And I think I do believe that there's a lot of brands doing this well outside of B2B, like creating Instagram channels and like for talking. And then Netflix had, like, when Stranger Things 5 came out, they did so much community building
Mm-hmm.
to promote that show. But like with B2B specifically, I think the harder thing is that we have such a great ICP. Social media managers are a great ICP, but if you're thinking about like accountants or a different demographic, I think it's a harder thing to think about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But in my case, building community was never a lever I wanted to pull, but it came naturally through LinkedIn connections and through seeing, oh, if somebody knows me as a marketer, they're more willing to look into our product than a person that doesn't know me at all. And then it kind of started this journey of like, how do we build community better? I'm only one person. I can't DM everybody every day. So that's kind of where our webinars were built out of. That's kind of where our Slack community was built out of. It's like, how do we build so much trust with the people that we're selling to that they just like think of us first when they're thinking of when they're like ultimately needing a product like Slate? I want them to think of us first. And Canva's such a big company, and there's like
Mm-hmm.
CapCut's such a big company, and like I don't know the humans behind it, to be honest. I'm not trying to call out brands, but like I think there is something to be said about community. We're being inundated with content every day, hundreds of pieces of content. And one way to stand out as a B2B company is to build community right now. And I think that's a lever we're pulling. It's a lever that's working, and we're going to keep going at it until we see otherwise. But I really think people are craving those more intimate connections, especially social media managers, because we have so much on our plates and we're learning so much every day. People just want to learn from each other. And I think that that was the easiest thing to put together because they were already craving that space.
Or just even commiserate sometimes.
Yeah. Literally, like, I'm like, let's have a wine session. We need it. We need it.
It's definitely a high drama role. Um, on community building, how do you kind of make that delineation between when you are showing up personally in people's like comments and DMs versus when it's the Slate brand commenting or liking or reposting?
Yeah, I don't think I'm honestly not sure like we've differentiated that much yet. I think we're still trying to figure out that. But honestly, when I engage as Slate the brand, I kind of keep the same brand voice. Maybe that's not the best play. I don't know. It's been working. But EGC, employee generated content specifically for our marketing team, has been a priority for us. It's like we kind of focus less on the brand page, which is something that we brought Carmen on to do, to focus on the
Mm-hmm.
content from the brand page. Um, but like, I believe that through the marketers that we have, that is how we're building community. And then the page is kind of like second priority. But I do believe there is a lot of room for the brand to be, in the comment section. And, the unfortunate thing is there's already such a bad rap for brands being in the comment sections on TikTok. And I don't want to bring that
Mm,
energy to LinkedIn. So part of me worries about that because
mm,
like everyone, I don't know if you've seen recent posts where like tons of brands will be commenting and people will be like revolting, like get out of our comment section. You don't deserve to be here.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Um, so that's why I've been channeling more of me in the comment section versus Slate. But I do believe LinkedIn is a different place. And I do believe like anybody that posts marketing content on here doesn't get as penalized as they would on TikTok or Instagram. So yeah, to be determined on like how that actually is operating. I'm starting to dabble into like commenting as the brand account.
Mm.
But I keep it pretty like human, and I try not to be super Gen Z about it. I try to just like engage when it makes sense.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. I'm trying to think of, Crowd as a digital and media agency. I don't think we're gonna have to, I don't think we can like show up and slay on other
Yeah, yeah. It's
people's,
like
you know?
I don't want to be slaying in the comment. But
Yeah.
I think I think this is also the note that I'd like to add of like hiring people that are funny. I'm not calling myself funny, but I think it is
Oh,
important to
you are. You are. You can call
hire.
yourself funny.
But I think it is important to have people that have a sense of taste and are a little bit humorous, because those people that have taste will know the difference of like, should I
Mm-hmm.
comment here as myself? Should I comment as a brand? Or should I just like
Mm-hmm.
leave it? Is this not the time to comment? So you do really need people with a good discernment of like
Mm-hmm.
how to approach those things.
You said something here that like I actually have been thinking about a lot, and it's that sort of the brand pages are slowly becoming more of a showcase page in a way. You have to be active, you have to have fresh content there because prospects will go there and check. But really where growth comes from is employee generated content and having those thought leaders in within your company. And again, it's a tricky thing to nail because again, you'll have to find people who are already ready to do content, but then also you're building their profiles and they might not be in the company forever, but it's an absolute must. How are you looking at that side of social?
First of all, I'd like to say if there's any company that's like telling you to not do what you're doing on LinkedIn, or they're stopping you from it, I just like to say full stop, like stop doing that. You need to let your employees post. It just needs to happen. Companies, especially in 2026, are not as loyal as they were back then. And I think people are recognizing that. So people are like, I need to future proof my career. And I love that Eric, the founder of the Slate, was like full on like, I want you to build your brand. I want you to build up your following. Like it's going to be important for us, and it's going to build our brand as you build your brand. And he's someone that gets social. But the way I'm thinking about it is honestly, it's really hard. Employee advocacy is such a hard thing to do, especially for people where it's not in the job description. Um, I do believe the more people that are posting on your brand's behalf, the better. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's like I think focus on a few key people that actually can do it well
And
and
are passionate about it
passionate
and
about
up
it,
for it.
and maybe reward them for it. Like create competitions or challenges. Early on in Slate, when I was a one person marketing team, we had like a LinkedIn challenge where we would like get people to post and we would check in every week, and it wasn't mandatory, but it was exciting for people to like check in and see their stats, you know? You kind of gamify it. And now as we have marketers, we're focusing more on the marketers rather than, you know, people, because it is it's a lot of
Hmm.
work. Like
It
posting on
is.
LinkedIn, I wake up some days I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what am I going to post today?" I have no idea.
I'm literally like, I'm sitting on the subway, like writing up post
Yes.
ideas in my notes app.
Yeah, I used to do that early on. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I need to think of ideas for the next 5 days." Now I'm like less intense with it. But yeah, I really do think find the people that are passionate about posting on your company's
Hmm.
behalf. Find ways to talk about your company that isn't directly about your company. Like,
Hmm.
uh,
The
think
culture,
about,
the day to day, the behind the
yeah,
scenes, things that went wrong, things that went right.
exactly. Like, it doesn't have to be like all my company did this, my company's
Hmm.
achievements, my company is launching. Like, it can be like, hey, I worked with my team today offsite and we had such a great day. This is what we did together. Or it could be like about the culture. Like, I know Slate has a really great PTO policy. So sometimes I'll be like, oh, like I want to talk about my PTO today. And then sometimes it's just thinking about your ICP and what they would want to hear. So it's like our ICP is social media managers. I'm going to talk about the new TikTok algorithm, or I'm going to talk about Instagram's updates with Adam Missouri, or I'm going to talk about trends that I'm seeing. Carmen does this really well, Carmen Vicente. And if you can inform and educate your audience and then kind of weave in your company in there, people will start to notice naturally. And that's been working for us. So
That's a great framework. Well, this has been such a fantastic conversation. I could just keep going, but
I
for
know, me
now,
too. I'm like, ah.
we're just gonna send people to follow you. So, two questions: where can people follow you, and who do you follow that we should have on the podcast next?
Okay, this is great. They can follow me on LinkedIn or connect with me. I'm like, I love LinkedIn is like
We'll
my,
link you.
yeah. And then the other thing is who I did mention her. Carmen is a really great follow. If you're thinking of like what the culture of social is doing at the moment, Carmen Vicente is a great follow. And then also Rachel Carton, just also continuously
Oh,
updating
love
social
both.
folks on like what's happening in the social sphere and doing really great interviews with people that are, yeah, doing a lot of cool things in social. So
Well, thank you so much for being on House of Content, and thank you all at home for listening.
thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye.